Hello, welcome. We'll get started here today in a couple minutes. I'll just wait until there's a couple more people in here. Is it the one well scene from The Ring? That is so hilarious. Sadly not, but when I was drawing the well, I actually was thinking about that movie, which is actually pretty funny. It does look like the well. I don't know if I'm exactly going to keep it there or not. I'm just trying to figure out different things I could probably put in that area, but that's just a little sketch of an idea. Just going to wait a few more minutes and then we can get started for today. I would be working on my Snow White drawing, of course, but it is finally October, so I'm actually working on this piece right now and kind of working on the Sally piece as well. I might redo pretty much the whole drawing, which sucks because it's not turning out the way I want it to. But that is perfectly fine. I actually have a new art program here, so I am finally using Procreate. So very excited. I have different tools and different fun brushes I can use now. Indeed, it is absolutely spooky month. But this drawing, actually, I'm very excited about. I will be adding some more effects and toning down the colors a little bit afterwards, but it's really fun to kind of play around with the brushes that I have now. I honestly kind of surprised myself with how I drew the background because I am definitely getting up there with a little bit of realism, a little bit, but definitely a really fun piece I'm working on right now. Too bad the first few days are going to. Absolutely. I've been making a leather face drawing for a bit. That sounds really fun. If any of you guys are new here, my name is Mochi. Feel free to, stay for a little bit and talk. I would love to have you guys to my community. I'm actually working on a spooky drawing today. That guy with the chainsaw in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Actually really love that movie, to be honest. I feel like the older ones were somewhat scarier, oh my lord. But the newer one, I don't know if I really liked it. I feel like it was kind of rushed a little bit and some of the scenes were a little bit confusing. Yeah, but I absolutely don't know if I'm going to keep the well there or not. I've had a few other ideas, like adding a ghost in that area or kind of like a haunted mansion or some sort, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that spot yet. They made it seem a bit more real. Absolutely, I agree with that. Hello, welcome. Yeah, when you're put in a situation like that, especially when filming, it definitely makes the whole scenes and whatnot feel super, super real. Alright, guys, so I'm still trying to get a feel of Procreate a little bit. This is pretty much my first drawing here on Procreate, so it's definitely a little fun, a little bit kind of scary a little bit because I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with the program yet. But I've been playing around with the brushes a lot, and I really do like a lot of the painting brushes, especially the flat brush. I kind of use that for, let's see what I use that for. I used it mainly for the pumpkins, the candles, but I use a lot of mixed brushes here actually. So definitely really fun with the brushes. Yet again, I don't know if I'm going to keep this well here. I'm just going to keep playing around a little bit. I'm thinking if I do keep the well, I might do maybe some type of green smoke effect maybe coming out of the well, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to just lower the opacity to 45%. I'm actually going to move my camera just a tad bit for you guys. I'm not exactly sure. I love your art and videos. Thank you so much. And thank you for stopping by. I kind of like the idea of the well, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to keep it there or not. We'll see how that turns out. Let's see. Another thing I'm definitely not getting a feel of yet is the way the sizes go with the brushes and the eraser. It is literally so big. If you go just like a tad bit on the bar, it is still a super big size on the brushes or the eraser. So I'm still trying to get a feel of that yet. But who knows? Maybe at some point I will get used to it. Just right now, it's definitely really hard to get used to. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly why I wanted to add a whale, but we'll see how that turns out. I think I attempted to draw a ghost like a couple times actually, and it just wasn't, it didn't look right. It didn't look like it fit with the drawing. But like I was saying earlier, if I do redo that Sally drawing, sad to say, I probably will do it here on Procreate instead. I'm slowly starting to transition my art and stuff over to Procreate now. But I will be keeping IBS Paint X. I do have some stuff on there. Sadly, I can't take off and transfer it to here because of certain layers and stuff. But that is perfectly fine. I will keep it as long as I need to. But this is pretty much my main art app now, and I am actually really excited about it, guys. Really excited. I can't draw a ghost as I made was a banshee. Ghosts are definitely somewhat complicated to draw. I mean, the main thing that kind of makes a ghost is it being transparent. So if you ever try drawing a ghost again, maybe try blurring out the edges, trying to make it a little bit more transparent. Definitely will help a little bit with it actually looking like a ghost. Of course, I tried that earlier, but yet again, it just didn't really look like it fit with the drawing. Trying to be super careful because I actually have a really good eraser set. I think it's Yeah, this is the eraser I'm using, so it's kind of like a hard edge. So kind of just using that to erase the excess area. Trying to be super, super careful. If you guys are already subscribed to me, you guys know me very well. I will probably be on live for about an hour, but we'll see how that goes. If not, probably just a half hour, but that is perfectly fine. I'm going to actually start posting so much more, maybe starting this upcoming week. I have a lot of fun stuff coming up for you guys, and a lot of stuff that's definitely going to help me experiment more with Procreate. Just erasing as much as I can. I think I might actually keep the sketch base underneath this. I know it kind of looks a little sloppy, but I feel like after I add some shading in there, it probably won't. I feel like sometimes with art, it doesn't have to be perfect. Even having a rough edge on a pencil, literally, or line work perhaps, makes the piece look very unique. But every artist has different opinions with art, and that is just my opinion. Just trying to line out the part of the stones, and then gradually make my eraser bigger to where I can get the axis pieces. I feel like this is actually one of my quickest drawings. You guys know that I take like about a month to do a drawing, mainly because I do characters and whatnot, especially for the background. It takes the longest for me, but this actually took me, I think I started this maybe yesterday, I believe, and it took me only like an hour at most to do. I would have, of course, finished it, but I was kind of stuck on this little open area here. The colors definitely look very light on the live stream, but that is okay. You guys know you guys get to see the main final piece when it's all done and finished. I also will try to be going live tomorrow, I believe around 10 p.m. Central Time. If not, then Sunday, but I do want to try to go live much more than I am now. It's kind of hard because of my school schedule, but I do want to make sure I'm being consistent with my posting and with my drawing as well. Now there is some texture behind this. I'm not exactly sure if I accidentally merged the layers underneath this, so we'll see how that goes. But I actually kind of like the texture of the grass over it in a way. I feel like it kind of makes it look unique, I guess. I don't know. But I probably will try to erase those bigger grass pieces. Those obviously don't look good there. But there is one thing I do have to do here. I have to make this a little bit more straight. Still trying to get a feel of this app. I don't know, guys. I will figure it out. I have no idea. I might have to leave soon, so I'm just gonna look for now. That is perfectly fine. Like I said, I might go live tomorrow, so don't sweat it. I'm trying to actually rotate the wheel a little bit. I can't tell if it's in center a little bit. I feel like it's just a little bit crooked, but I honestly cannot tell, to be honest with you guys. Who knows? For now, I'm just going to work more on the detail. I'm also going to try to find some of those layers underneath here. It feels weird without Carlos and Rex now. Absolutely. I feel like it mainly feels weird because they're always in live, but maybe they'll join a little bit. I know Carlos had said he was at his cousin's house, I believe. He commented that, but we'll see. Alright, so it's definitely not that layer. I don't know what layer it is, guys. There it is. Yeah, make sure you study it. Studying is definitely very, very important, especially if you have a test coming up. Alright, so it is on this layer. Sadly, I don't think I'll be able to erase it, which I guess is fine, but I mean, you can't really notice if you're far away. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make another layer. This is layer 16. I actually had so much more layers than this, and I merged it all down. But just so it's not so crowded, I kind of try to merge some of them if need be. I am now going to maybe this brush, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, we'll do this. So I'm going to make the size maybe to 2%. The opacity maybe around there. We can actually make that just a little bit smaller. Trying to get the perfect size. Alright, that is perfect. So I'm actually going to just go underneath the bricks. I could probably go a little bit lighter. I feel like it's just so dark when you do a stream like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just the shading part underneath the bricks, so it will be blended out. Alright, I'm going to blend this out. I'm going to go to my adjustments and use this blur. I'm not exactly sure how to use, or not use it, how to pronounce it, but I'm just going to blur that out maybe to, we'll do 3% on that. And I'm going to merge that layer down, make a new layer, and I'm going to fill this entire area very, very dark because obviously it's the inside part of the well. Just make sure it's covered very, very well. And I'm going to blur this just a tad bit, not too much. We'll do this about 3% as well. Just in case I hit some of the bricks with the darkness, I'm going to erase that area a little bit. Just like that, it's looking perfect. Merge that down and I'm going to make a new layer again. Just putting some shading in parts that I feel like would actually be shaded on a well. So kind of like that, and I'm also going to blur this out a little bit. Just a little bit. 3% for that. It's definitely going to need a little bit more shading. I'm not going to do too much shading, but just enough so it actually looks good. What I'm going to do now is just do some shading in between each lines of the bricks, just so it looks more bolder and just so it has a little bit of depth to it. So I'm just going to do that to every single area in between those bricks. Just going to keep doing this until I have done every single one of those lines. I'm not really worried too much about those back bricks over there, just the front, because yet again I might be adding some type of green smoke or something coming out of the well. I don't know what I accidentally erased. It has to be one of these layers down here, I believe. Yeah, it was that. Oh no. I do apologize for any background noise. I do have my window open. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to... I'm not exactly sure what this pen does. I don't know what that does. I caught my tripod. That is like the second time that has happened. Trying to prop you up. Good. I think this is actually pretty good there. Alright. So I'm just going to keep messing around. I don't necessarily want to do that all over again, because that would actually really suck. Sadly, I think I do. That sucks. Oh no. Alright, I'm just going to keep going back until I see that mark disappear. Yet again, I'm still trying to get a feel of this app yet. So I don't know exactly how I can fix that area without actually going back. Just gonna keep going back. There it goes. Alright. So sadly, I have to do all of that again. That actually really does suck. But that is perfectly fine. Hello, welcome Carlos, welcome. Trying to get this covered with a good amount here. Just going to use my eraser. Maybe make that just a little bit bigger. I feel like it definitely was worth going back just to redo it, because the way I actually placed that dark shade down, it kind of has more depth to it, since it's kind of light going into dark. I'm just going to keep erasing here. Alright, something like this. I will probably end up erasing those lines underneath it. Just for now, it's just looking like this. I will be adding some more textures to this as well. I have some nice stone textured brushes that I have here built into Procreate, so I will be using those as well. Just like I did a couple minutes ago, I'm going to actually blur this out just a little bit to 3%. Actually, we'll do 1% for that, actually. It's sidetracking me from the actual drawing. I do apologize for that. It's funny how they're showing up as red, though. It's supposed to be orange. Yet again, I don't know if it's exactly in the center or not, but I might actually move it around a little bit just to actually see where I'm going to place it. It looks a little weird on camera because it's kind of at an angle, so I do apologize for that. He drew all that. I did indeed. It took me, I believe, about an hour to actually draw it, but that was like the other day, and then I had stopped the drawing, but I'm just trying to figure out where to put certain things right now. Alright, so I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. And I'm going to be adding just some shading underneath each brick. With the grass around the bottom, I will be doing that as well. Right now, I'm just trying to add some shading to the bricks. And then I will be adding, I believe, like green smoke or something coming out of the well. I just put a line in the center, which is find out by looking at the pixels on both sides to find out where the center is. That's exactly what I would do, but yet again, I'm struggling, guys. I really am. But I'm trying to get used to the app. Make an arm coming out of it. That'd be hilarious. Just adding those lines doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend that out. So I'm going to go up to my adjustments and I'm going to blur that to about, we'll do like maybe 4% on that. Procreate is a bit weird. I haven't done much on it. It is absolutely weird. I'm still trying to get used to it, but it is definitely way different than IBS Paint X. Like, really different. But now, since I switched over, I actually am starting to like the tools and stuff, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fun tools you can use on IBS Paint X, but Procreate, I don't know, it's kind of growing on me. I probably will be on live for just a little bit longer today, but I will be live again tomorrow around 10 p.m. Central Time. So feel free to stop by and just say hi or whatnot. You guys don't have to stay. I know you guys are absolutely busy, especially with school and stuff. And a lot of you guys like to do your homework late at night for some reason. Keep up the good work. Stay with the grind. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's easier to export though. I do agree on that. I was a little bit confused on that whole exporting thing at first, but I think I kind of got, the gist on it a little bit. Trying to add some shading in certain spots that I feel like needs to be a little bit darker, but I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. So I'm going to blur that out again as well. We'll do about 3% for that. Yeah, we'll do 30%. I'm going to merge that down, add a new layer. And I'm also going to add even more shading. So what I'm going to do is add more shading around the bottom area because it is obviously closer to the floor. Maybe a little bit on the sides, like so. And I'm just going to blur that out. I'm going to do maybe 11% for the blur. And just in case some of it is outside of that area, I'm going to erase just a little bit on the outside. And it's looking pretty decent so far. I do have to erase some of those lines because it does look a little weird. But it's looking alright. I am going to use some of these tools here. Let's see what we could use. I think I could use we could probably use some of this. I could definitely do it a little bit darker. Or we could also just add just a little bit in the area just so it looks kind of dark in between those bricks. So I do like that. I am going to keep that there. And I'm going to merge that down. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this concrete block, going to put down the opacity. Seriously, it's my last year in high school and I can't get a break. I know absolutely how you feel. They definitely do like to work you extremely hard, especially on, tests and stuff. It does suck, but at least it will be worth it. That's one big brush. It is absolutely. Just trying to get the area covered good enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be like perfect or anything like that. I could actually kind of put it down just a little bit more. Just so it looks more like a well. Alright, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to erase around it. I'm going to make my eraser a little bit bigger. what I'm going to do is I might actually blur out the well just a little bit. It is a little bit farther away, so I feel like it would make sense to do so, but I'm not going to blur it like insanely as much. I'm going to just blur it out just a little bit. Creation, though, on my actual YouTube channel where I post videos, I've just cracked nearby 6K views in total. That is amazing. I believe there is an ambulance that's about to go by my house. Oh no. Yep, I was right. And found a cool tag combo that gets me almost 1K views per short. That is honestly really, really awesome. Alright, what I'm going to do now is there is so much ambulances outside. Anyway, I'm going to maybe blur it. Just a little bit, not too much. I feel like 1% would be good, but I also don't know. I don't know, guys. I feel like we could just leave it like that for now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some shading on the bottom. I forgot to change my brush. Oh lord. Painting. Alright, I'm going to add some shading on the bottom area. Just so it looks like there actually is a well there. And I'm going to, of course, blur that out. We'll do 11%. Actually, we'll do 7. But I'm also going to erase some of the area. And then I'm going to blur it again. That is perfectly fine. We'll do 5% there. I'm going to merge that down, of course. And this is what I have going on so far. So I think maybe I will leave the well there. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in that exact same spot. I also do have to kind of figure out the placement a little bit better because it is, I feel like, maybe a tad bit crooked. But it's not too crooked, so who knows, maybe I'll just leave it like that. But this is what I have going on so far. Really, really fun, cool Halloween drawing of going on. I don't know if I am going to keep the well there, but we'll see. Yeah, that is perfectly fine. I was actually just about to end my stream, so I hope you have a great rest of your night and sleep well. I will be going live again tomorrow at 10 p.m. Central Time, and I hope you all enjoyed the live.